You are in a serious wealth transfer, and they are all scared. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, you are in a serious transfer, and they are all scared. Somebody drop in the comments and say the wealth belongs to the righteous. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say the wealth belongs to the righteous. Now, we'll get to the wealth being laid up for the righteous or stored up for the righteous later in this video. But let me say this right here first, y'all. The meek is taking over, right? Generous souls are being uplifted. And those who are true believers, but not only believers, they're putting work behind their faith and prayers, they're taking over, right? They are about to be truly elevated and uplifted. You know why? Because he says, listen, I understand that at the time you were not ready, but you had a great heart. I understand that at the time you didn't understand management, but I got you. You was righteous. So with that being said, I got something great for you and generations to come. This is not only for you. You're just the gateway to get to it. But generations after generations after generations are going to have this wealth. That's why it is a wealth transfer, right? It's not a riches transfer, or it's not a who got money now and who has money later and who had money then. And no, it's wealth. Wealth is not only subjected to money. Wealth is resources. Wealth is connections. Are connections. Wealth is power. Wealth is sources. Wealth is your network. All right. Wealth are your resources, things outside of money. Wealth, property, right? But what I want you to realize is it is now about to be a transfer. I understand you have felt oppressed. I understand that you have felt like a slave. I understand you have felt as if you were overlooked, overshadowed, and you were not getting the respect that was due. But today is a new day. It's your time. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. It's my time. And when I say it's your time, I'm not just only talking about you, right? It's your time in terms of an entire family. You're just the priest of it. You're just the leader of it. But guess who's leading you? God. So understand, when this wealth is happening, you are about to be the gateway for it to come into the family. And nobody has done that. So other family members are going to be afraid. Even governments are afraid. Certain friends are afraid. People who you have been around, your workers are afraid. Your boss, they're afraid. Because now you're not going to need them for anything else, especially basic necessities like toothpaste, taking care of your rent, mouthwash, buying food. Now, when you have this wealth, you don't have to depend on no man for anything. Okay? Now, let me say this right here, y'all. 4 things are going to happen whenever this wealth transfer happens. Number 1, you gain independence. Number 2, you gain freedom. Number 3, it gives you courage. And number 4, you gain power. Now, on the flip side of this, the byproduct of gaining these 4 things, or these 4 things happening, is number 1, you're no longer dependent. So those who were depending on you, or depending on the fact that you needed them, it's going to scare them, because now you no longer need them. Okay? You're no longer dependent. You're not on training wheels no more. Make sense, y'all? Then the next thing, listen, y'all, you're no longer a slave. See, if you don't have freedom, then you are a slave. I'm not just only talking about physical slaves. You can be a mental slave, an emotional slave. You can be a slave to your materialistic possessions. You can be a slave to your career, right? We have to get outside of just a small mindset. Slave, Harriet Tubman, slave, Frederick Douglass. They are very important, and I will never, look down on our leaders, right? Especially in history, they made an impact. But it's much more to slavery than just physical slavery, right? The next thing, y'all, you're no longer afraid. When you gain this courage, guess what? The opposite of courage is being afraid. When you have that courage, you're not brave-hearted. Guess what? You're so brave to where you're willing to step up to their table and say, hey, I don't need a plate. I don't need a chair. I have my own table, right? So if you're going to invite me here, come correct, because I can just go back to my table. My time is valuable, right? You're no longer, oppressed. You're no longer oppressed. And when you gain power, the opposite of that, in my opinion, is oppression. You're not powerful if you are oppressed. Notice I didn't say weak, right? Because guess what, y'all? I believe you can be a strong person. You could be, very powerful. But if you're weak, you can't be none of that. A weak person have some type of insufficiency, right? They have some type of insecurity. It's something that's keeping them from being empowered. But the point is, y'all, you're no longer oppressed because now you have the power and you're going to utilize it the right way, right? But family, without going into any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, y'all, second video of today. And I'm just really feeling the people today, y'all. I'm really feeling good. Got downloads and things hit my spirit, and I just got to get it out, right? But you are in a serious wealth transfer. They are all scared. Understand that. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel, as well as ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. Number one, you are a good steward, all right? How you know that you are in a serious wealth transfer is because you are a good steward, all right? A good steward is a person who understands management, and they are a person who understands not allowing more to come out that is then coming in. You have to be a good steward. In other words, you are a spiritual gatekeeper, right? But not only a gatekeeper for money, but a gatekeeper for resources. A gatekeeper for your materialistic possessions, a gatekeeper for your properties. You are a gatekeeper. As parents, you have to be a gatekeeper. If you're not a gatekeeper as a parent, then the kids are going to run over you. You can't let them eat all the snacks. You can't let them go to every single function their friends are throwing. You can't let them have every, dollar you got. You got to be a good steward of the resources. Therefore, you teach them appreciation. You teach them diligence. You teach them how to work hard. You just teach them so many different principles and morals that will go along with them for their entire life, right? But as a good steward, you have these 4 characteristics. That is diligence, integrity, gratitude, acknowledgement. Let's talk about it. Diligence means that you are diligent about anything that you do, meaning you pay attention to details. You're very punctual. You are very, eye on. You make sure that things are done. You're diligent. See, I'm going to be honest, y'all, all the way down to Wendy's, Burger King, or McDonald's. I want a diligent worker. I don't want nobody just making my burger, just slapping it together, just, here you go, cheeseburger. Here you go, Whopper. No. Here you go, Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. No. Make mine with love. And not only make it with love, but be diligent about it. Work hard on my cheeseburger. Absolutely. But those are the traits that a good steward has, right? See, guess what? God says, if I can trust you with little, then I know I can trust you with much. So guess what? Be diligent where you are with what you have, and I'm going to allow you to be diligent in a much bigger space, in more abundance. Make sense? This is how you know you are in a serious wealth transfer. God is watching, right? Drop that down below in the comments. God is watching. You are a good steward, right? A good steward can be being a good parent. Good steward can be being a good teacher. Anytime he puts you in a leadership position and you do good in it, you're a good steward. Because guess what? If you have the ability to lead, then that means that you can lead them into good or bad. If you're leading people, things, places into the good, you are a good steward, all right? Next characteristic of a good steward is integrity. And I talk about integrity all the time, y'all, right? It's not about what you do when everyone is looking. It is about what you do when nobody is looking, right? If I am returning purses and wallets when everyone is looking, what good is it if I am going into purses and wallets when no one is looking? I have no integrity. Gratitude, once again, when you are appreciative for the small things and little things, God gives you more. Gratitude and acknowledgement. Acknowledge acknowledge the individual or the spirit or the person or the thing that has placed you in position to be a steward, right? They have those 4 characteristics: diligence, integrity, gratitude, acknowledgement. You are a good steward. This is how you know that you are in a serious wealth transfer. And they are scared, right? Because they know what they would do when they get the wealth, the resources, the money. They know what they would do, right? That's why certain people are not getting blessed. God knows who to give a baby to. He knows who to give wealth to. He knows who to give the job to. He knows who to do certain things for. He knows, right? Number 2, you're shifting from borrower to lender. You are shifting from borrower to lender. Family, it automatically feels unnatural and abnormal whenever you are borrowing money from people, right? Like when I was going through homelessness and going through that divorce, as I talked about it a million times, I know y'all, but when I was going through that, I had to borrow money. I didn't do it often. I borrowed it a few times. I probably did I can count on one hand, maybe 2, at most 3 times. It wasn't no more than 3 times because I was still selling my books. Then I ended up getting my job at the bowling alley as a bartender. And on top of that, I had got a second job. So I was grinding. I was selling books. I was working as a bartender. And I was working my other job at the warehouse job called Marshalls. Y'all should know about that. But the point is, y'all, is that in that time when I had to ask people for money, it felt unnatural. Even when it comes down to getting money from a bank, you're like, man, I don't really feel like that money belongs to me. Number 1, I don't want to pay it back. And then number 2, I believe that I am the lender and not the borrower. And even in the scriptures, y'all, even in the word, it tells you that you're gonna go from you are a lender and not a borrower. All right, you are His chosen people, but His chosen people did not get it right for a long time, and that's why in Deuteronomy it was basically like a curse. Okay, but He understood that at some point they would get it right, and that's why He set it up to where you have to realize who you are, and you have to realize that you are chosen. All right, and He gives you all the kingdom keys in order to make it happen and attract the things that He designed for you to have in the first place. But sticking to the point, y'all, you're shifting from borrower to a lender. People are asking you for more money now. People are asking you, can you do things for them now? And people are trusting you in this position. Even if it's just you giving people $10, $20, $100, whatever level you on, even if it's $1,000, you're going from borrower to lender, right? Number 3, you handle money and resources with wisdom. You handle money and resources with wisdom. Everybody don't have this capability, right? You take a person who, when they get $20, they finna go to Wendy's and eat it up. They finna go to the Chinese spot and go eat it up. A person get $200, they finna buy a $200 pair of shoes, right? Why not get you some food, like groceries, and then get you a cheaper pair of shoes, right? And then save some. Now I get it. Inflation is high and things are not what it used to be. But y'all get the point. It's about budgeting and managing your resources. But see, when you begin to handle your money and resources with wisdom, God pays attention to that. He says, He's attracting my resources. If you don't manage things run away from you, right? If you don't manage money, it runs away from you. Simple as that, y'all. So when you begin to handle money and resources with wisdom, you are thinking about the aftermath. You're thinking about your credit aftermath, right? You're thinking about how it's going to be when you no longer have a dollar in your pocket. You're thinking about the aftermath. And this is how you're supposed to handle money and resources, with wisdom. You ever seen those basketball players get a $50 million contract? They ain't handled the money and resources with wisdom, though. They had deals, brand deals, right? They had everything. The world was in their hands. Spent it and blew it all. Why? Because they didn't handle it with wisdom. We're watching Justin Bieber right now go through being broke after accumulating up to $1 billion, maybe more. And maybe it was a little less than that, right? Because, these sources all can't be trusted, right? But I'm sure he had well over millions and millions and millions of dollars off of music. I'm sure of it. He blew it. He's broke now. That's what it looks like when you don't handle money and resources with wisdom. Number 4, you created a movement. You created a movement. All right? See, a movement looks like this. This is when you build something that starts a trend, that wakes up people, it enlightens people, and it creates a new lifestyle for people. See, where there's no people, there's no movement. Think about it. Civil rights movement. What happened? People were involved. It was no movement as long as there was no feet moving. You have to have a movement where it shifts the culture. It shifts people around y'all. It have to make a shift. That's a movement, right? All Lives Matter movement, Black Lives Matter movement, women rights movement. All these things are movements. So whenever you create a movement, there's going to be some type of transfer there. Make sense, y'all? Because there's strength in numbers. And where there's no people, or where there's no vision, the people shall perish. So if you have a vision there and you create a movement, God says, okay, you're going to need some resources. You may have payroll. You may have to invest. You may have to build something. But he says that you have this movement, and if you implement these laws and use these keys, then you're going to attract these resources. You started a movement. Why would he give you wealth just for you? That's stupid. He's going to give you wealth for the people and things around you and those who deserve to be blessed as well. But it's all off the bats of you starting a movement. Okay? This is why, and I'm going to say this and then we'll move on. This is why you will be quickly funded for a business versus just you. Now, it's things that you have to do. Obviously, you don't just say, hey, I have a business. Can I get funded? No, you got to have your business credit, maybe even personal credit, right? You got to have credentials, maybe even collateral. But for the most part, just business credit. And you can get some type of funding. But you know why? Because that business is looked at as a movement. When you get a personal loan, they're like, what do you need the money for? Do you got collateral? Do you have this? Do you have that? It's not a movement. But when you have a movement, a business, something that involves other people, is taken more serious. And that's the same thing of what I'm saying, y'all. You created a movement. Therefore, you're going to attract God's resources. All right. Number 5, y'all, the last thing, he is allowing the wicked to prosper. He is allowing the wicked to prosper. All right. But I need you to drop this in the comments. It's my time to win. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, it's my time to win. This is a fact. All right. See, going back to what I said, y'all, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. He allowed the wicked to accumulate all the wealth because, once again, they are great at management and they are great at accumulating this money. Chances are because they are selfish. They don't care about nobody else but themselves. You know, they're greedy. So he says, take all those characteristics, use them up and build this wealth. And now I'm going to give it to my chosen people, my chosen ones. All right. Yeah. So he used them. He used them as footstools for you to step upon and then receive the wealth. Can you imagine? Right now, the wealth that Diddy has accumulated, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, y'all, because we can't say it's a fact, but I believe that that wealth is going to go to someone that's righteous. Guaranteed. I don't see his family being wealthy for generations to come. You know why? Because the wealth now is on layaway for someone else who's righteous. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Make sense? I can almost guarantee you those kids don't have the mentality to keep it. That's very similar to the Vanderbilts. Very wealthy. But their wealth was transferred over to some individuals who were righteous. I can guarantee you. Somehow there's going to be a way that they lose the wealth because they didn't follow the kingdom keys, the kingdom laws, spiritual laws. They broke them, right? And see, like I said, y'all, when you break the law, then the law is the punishment within the law is inherent. Period. You feel it immediately. You run a red light, you get pulled over. You kill somebody, you go to jail. You go to prison. The law has an inherent punishment. Period. So, going right back to it, y'all, when he's allowing the wicked to prosper, he's doing it for good reason. Yeah, you thought that he forgot about you. You thought that he didn't hear you. You thought that you wasn't standing out. You thought that you were overlooked. He said, no, you're just in training. I'm hiding you right now. I'm allowing them to do what they do, but they're not good people. So it's going to go to you anyway. You just got to stay down. Stay righteous. And understand that his first will be last and his last will be first. If you are last, then you're about to be first. So a great example of this, y'all, would be the Canaanites. The Canaanites, right? They built up wealth. Okay, they built up a bunch of wealth. But do you know who that wealth was transferred over to? It was transferred over to the Israelites because those were God's chosen people. So the Canaanites had accumulated the wealth, but the Israelites, it was transferred over to the Israelites, so they took over the wealth. That is a prime example of how a serious wealth transfer happens, and they're scared. The Canaanites were scared because they knew that they were not the chosen people. Everybody who had a problem with God or a problem with bowing down to God, their wealth was transferred over, but they deep down inside knew that they were not the ones. And that's why they went so hard on, I'm God, I'm him, you're going to serve me, because they were in denial. They were delusional. They knew, but they was in denial that we're not his chosen people. So he allows them to accumulate the wealth, do what you got to do, work for it. Yeah, do all that. But it's going to my chosen people, all right? But without any further ado, y'all, that's the point. You are in a serious wealth transfer, and they are all scared, family. Once again, y'all be sure to join the Rich Mentality Academy. Y'all get some more of this info, knowledge, and meet your tribe. It's going to be a great thing, y'all. Join the Rich Mentality Academy today. T-shirts still the same, books still the same. Everything's still the same, y'all. But make sure y'all join the academy. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.